I continue to be impressed with him, honestly. And I think right now, if you had to draft today, I would be taking him as my number one overall pick. I don't think there's much of a debate about it here. He would be the number one overall pick. Averaging 25 points per game, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, shooting 53% from the field, 36% from the three-point line. AJ Dybansta is the real deal, the best scorer that college basketball has seen in quite some time. When you consider that he is, maybe shoo-in is too strong of a word. When you consider that he is the clear-cut consensus to be the number one pick, especially the way that Darren Peterson's game has kind of fell off here down the stretch. Now, anything can happen in the tournament where a scout prefers one guy over the other, but it feels like Dybansta is going to be the number one overall pick. How many times in recent memory have we seen this? And it feels like it's happening more and more with the added importance and emphasis on NIL. The last couple of years, we've seen the projected number one overall pick flirt with the idea of staying in college. It's no different for this year's projected number one overall pick, AJ Dybansta. AJ Dybansta had this to say when asked about going to the NBA next year.
But do you care about going number one? Do you want to go number one?
Yeah.
Do you think you will?
Well, I might not leave.
What do you mean?
Like, I might not leave college.
Why not?
No, I just got to return to the season.
So you haven't made up your mind that you're going to go into the draft?
Nah, cause my mom wants me to graduate.
Really?
Yeah, so I might not leave. But I might leave.
But he says there at the end, but I might leave. Look, I think it's fascinating, the decision he's got to make here. So AJ Dybansta's NIL valuation is in between $4 to $7 million annually. Denton, if you can help me out real quick, what is the number one overall pick in the NBA draft slotted to make? Because I think with the new CBA that they put in, those dollar figures and guaranteed money are predetermined. With Dybansta, though, when you consider how lucrative of an NIL package he's getting, let's just call it $7 million annually, if he was drafted as the number one overall pick, he would make.
Cooper Flag got 40 years, $62 million. That's 13 a year.
So basically, he would double his money by going to the NBA, and he wouldn't have to go to class, and he wouldn't have to deal with the stupid rules of being a member of BYU's campus. I don't want to say stupid rules. That was very inappropriate. They have their rules on their campus. They're a very religious school, but I do know that they do bend the rules sometimes for athletes. What the hell is AJ Dybansta talking about? Now, I get the idea of his mom wanting him to graduate. And by the way, I absolutely love that. I'm a big proponent of that. This past weekend, I was praising Flau'jae Johnson of LSU, who could have left this past year and been a lottery pick in the WNBA draft, but wanted to get her degree, wanted to continue to be an active face and voice on campus. I don't know if that's Dybansta's motive, but if he's making – here's the thing, though. If he's making $7 million this year, can't he just tear up his NIL bag and get another one next year? BYU just landed the number 6 overall prospect in the class of 2026. All of a sudden, BYU's got money out the wazoo. I don't know if I have a problem with it. Because here's the transparent part about this. Danny Ainge, president of basketball operations, I believe is his official title, former executive for the Celtics, now with the Utah Jazz. He is directly responsible for the NIL fund. He is directly responsible for the NIL bag and resources that BYU now has. And I think this makes way for a pretty interesting conversation. If you're just now joining us here on Westwood One Sports Night, the projected number one overall pick, AJ Dybansta, who is, I don't know, man. I want to tag you in on this here to give some perspective on just the talent of AJ Dybansta. I think AJ Dybansta is a better prospect than Cooper Flagg. I think I'm trying to have the conversation done. I would have to go back to Victor Wembanyama. Like, that's the last prospect to me on Dybansta's level. And that's no shade at all to Coop. Like, Coop's a dog. We're seeing it this year in
Right.
the NBA. I just think Dybansta's a little bit more polished and skilled offensively.
I was going to say there's some explosion there that he plays with, and that's just the nature of the position. Yeah, I think Cooper is really versatile when it comes to handling the basketball in a way that maybe AJ Dybansta is not, but I also think that he is likely going to land in an organization that's not going to ask him to handle the basketball. There's just a level of explosion that he has that's really fun to watch on not a nightly basis, but it will be a nightly basis when he gets to the NBA this year. I don't buy this at all.
So you think he's capping?
I think it is full cap, luncheon maybe even.
Yeah.
I mean, how many guys do this, right? How many guys be like, I'm actually going to stay in school. I don't know why they do this, but Zion did it, Cooper Flagg did it. All the good players do this.
Yeah, I think there's some legitimacy to, like, his mom wanting him to graduate. I think all the moms want their kids to graduate. But here's the thing. It's not like going to the NBA prevents that.
Yeah, you can still graduate. And to my knowledge, they still honor portions of your scholarship, even if you do go leave. But if you leave, look, bro, you get $62 million. You can afford to take some classes.
I'm about to say, man, you can you can play a little summer ball, do a little summer school, and get it how you live, so to speak. What I think this opens up the door for is a bigger conversation surrounding college athletics. With the way that NIL has kind of been pushed to the forefront and the importance level of it, I can just remember, man, I had this conversation all the time with my cousin and my brother. Like, we always say it, man. My aunt and uncle used to have this rule because they bought into our sports careers just as much as we did. That's why I'm so thankful that I had, people that raised me like that. Not everybody, was brought up in a household like that. And it just so happens that I love sports, so it all worked. But I hated it at the time, how much they were pushing me. They used to say, man, do 100 push-ups and 100 sit-ups every night before bed. And you know what I'm thinking? I'm watching the main event of Monday Night Raw. I don't want to be doing push-ups and sit-ups and turning my attention away from the TV. There was a point in time where you did it for a certain amount of time. You saw results. You felt good about yourself. But all in all, I just didn't want to do it. Boy, I wish I listened to my aunt and uncle. With all the money that's out there via NIL and college athletics, I'm still, at this point in my life, considering it, man. I got my weight vest in the closet. I got a bunch of hills around here. I know I could go get me a bag as a guard or a 3-tech or a defensive end in today's NIL landscape. I know I could. But the fact that I'm even thinking about it, the fact that I'm even considering it, is simply because the money is too damn good to turn down. And it makes me think. I remember, man, like back in the day, when I say back in the day, I'm talking pre-NIL. The goal amongst kids in underserved communities was, hey, let me get to the league, whether that's the NBA or the NFL, so I could buy my mama a house, so I can break my generational curse, so I can provide generational wealth. With the way that NIL has boomed here over the past really 3-4 years, I think the goal has changed. The goal, if you're a kid in the inner city in an underserved community, the goal is no longer to get to the pros. You can get generational wealth at the collegiate level. Do we think that with this boost in NIL, in this emphasis that's being put on NIL, do we think that it's going to change the mentality of the youngsters coming up? Will we have kids that are less motivated to go pro because they can get the pro salary at the collegiate level? 310-840-4910 is the number. Now, Denton just gave us the numbers here, right? You double your money if you're Dybansta by going pro, getting $13 million as a rookie compared to the $7 million you're going to get in NIL. But if you're Dybansta, you're Word to Brock Lesnar, you're the next big thing. You are the guy. So Dybansta's got enough pull to where he can go up to Danny. Yoo-hoo! Mr. Ainge, rip this NIL contract up. I want $14 million because I don't want to go to the NBA, but I don't want to lose any money. I can see Danny Ainge now. Sure, AJ, we'll do whatever to make sure that our basketball program is relevant. Like, that's where we're at right now. And I think that's the other interesting part about this as well. And it sucks that if you're a local guy like from the DMV, and if you're from an area, let's say, where your school doesn't have any prominent alumni, you're kind of behind the eight ball here. Nobody that's graduated from the University of Maryland, for example, has got a deep enough bag to single-handedly impact the NIL at the school. The example I use, James Harden with Arizona State. James Harden throwing buku money towards the Arizona State basketball program. Why? Why? Because he cares about his alma mater. Trae Young giving buku money back to Norman, Oklahoma, where he played his college basketball at. Why? Because he cares about the program. I'm all for that being a part of the conversation, but this is the bigger picture convo I want to have at 310-840-4910. The presumptive number one overall pick in the 2026 NBA draft, AJ Dybansta, he is seriously considering staying in school. This would have never been a conversation. This wouldn't have been a conversation 7-8 years ago because of the money that you're turning down. With how much NIL is skyrocketed, and now that you have the ability to make that generational wealth at the collegiate level, do you see more guys like Dybansta making the decision to forego the pros to stay in college? I think the conversation at the NFL level is fascinating because of the violence that comes with the sport. In the NFL, my rule of thumb would be get your bag and get the hell on out. You can make generational money in college and never have to play in the NFL and still have the generational wealth. Do you see NIL and this explosion of NIL? Do you see it impacting young men and women, their desire to go pro in their respective sport? 310-840-4910 is the number as we take you coast to coast here on Westwood One Sports Night. I'm fascinated by this conversation, and I want to put myself in Dybansta's shoes here. I want to take the mentality of the collegiate athletes for a second, because if I'm being honest, like if it was me, I would legitimately have something to think about, man, especially with football. But basketball is a little bit different.